Well, it's a good day to you, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Musa Bofu, and I am here to facilitate a conversation around the future of responsible trade. So, to kick us off, I will give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves as they share their stories. But to kick us off, I will ask Hisham from Egypt to introduce himself, tell us where he's from. I've given that away. But then tell us in a very relatable way what fair trade is and what it is about. Over to you, Hisham.
Thank you, Musa, and hi everyone. My name is Hisham Gazar. I'm from Egypt, as you mentioned, and I'm the founder of Yadawi. Yadawi is an Egyptian export company, and we export Egyptian handicraft since 2002. And Yadawi means handmade in Arabic. Um, and I'm also the currently serving as the chairman of World Fair Trade Organization Africa and Middle East. When people ask me about what is the meaning of fair trade, I always like to go to the basic. So fair trade is consists of two words, fair and trade. So it's all about doing business in a way that's fair to every person in the value chain. And when we say business, this means trying to make profit. There is no shame in making a profit, but the idea is how we are going to use this profit to have a better world, to serve the people around us. Um, and also, uh, fair means fair prices, fair treatment, also fair opportunity, especially for the most in need, the most people who are vulnerable and that needs to be helped and needs to find job opportunities, decent work, and sustainable income.
Thank you for that. I like what you say, Hisham, that there is no there's nothing embarrassing about making a profit. It's about how then we make that profit impact people, but also positively impact the planet. Um, uh, I'm very well aware that fair trade is about a trading relationship. I will open up to anybody in the room right now about mainly by definition, fair trade is about this relationship between producers that are probably in the global south and buyers that are in the global north. How do we imagine that that relationship would look in a situation where the producers are in the south and the buyers are in the south? We are trying to create sustainable lifestyle, sustainable livelihoods for the economies around us through the profit that we make, because then those are the people, and as we respect the environment that is the planet. Now, to get into the stories, I'll invite Tehaye from Ethiopia to tell us about what their sustainable enterprise is doing to impact the reality of African lives. I think what we know to be true is that women in our communities, the youth in our communities, refugees in our communities, displaced people in our communities face a challenge of trying to sustain their lives in the places in which they find themselves. So maybe we could hear the story from Sabaha. So hi.
Hi, nice to see you all. So my name is Sahaye from Ethiopia, from Sabahar. So Sabahar has been working for the last 20 years, as you know, as handmade textile and exporting to different countries. The mission of the company is creating sustainable employment for women, and due to that, 56% of the employees are women, and the rest 44 is men. And so it's from the beginning, it's kind of woman-oriented company. Even the owner is woman. So, what was the history from Sabah on being a fair trade member and being uh, trying or struggling on the sustainability of, especially on cultural sustainability, working with artisans, like it's changing from time to time. And what we can say now is, thanks to the time and generation, we have achieved like 20 years cultural sustainability, bringing to the center and working on that one. So, especially coming to Sabahar, like Sabahar is working on hand weaving, and weaving in Ethiopia is like kind of for men, but the spinning part is for women. So what we are doing is like to promote our women, because the target is empowering women. Then some of the women are now like participating on weaving, and also we are promoting them like from artisans to be to gain more expertise. So six of the department heads now, and six of the managements are from the artisan women, but now they are on the position of the management. They are supervising others. So this is what, from the beginning, it was creating employment for women and also promoting them to be expertise, to be powerful, and to have financial inability or financial independency on their skills. And also with when we see the weaving, it's kind of in Ethiopia weaving is a cultural, but the young generation was not accepting it as a like an income or as a generate income to them. But Samar has tried a lot to get to give awareness and to change the mind of the young generation or the son of the old weavers.
Mm,
Nowadays, like the young generation is accepting it as a viable source of income, and now they are getting back to that, because a time ago they were kind of preferable to be a driver rather than a weaver, but through Sawar gave us more awareness and training us and try a lot to go further from the central city to the regionals to get more weavers. Then now the generation is of the young generation is getting back to weaving, and now we do have more than 30 of uh, young people of weaving. So that's why that it is giving us just to have a sustainability on the cultural heritage too, and
mm,
also productive efficiency of production. So this is what Sabah is trying a lot to keep the sustainability of all the cultural sustainability of weaving, cultural sustainability of spinning, and also other production and handmade production, sustainability of heritage, so and so on. So, like we do have, we have achieved a lot on changing of people's mind, especially young people, rather than using the technology or fast, like kind of fast things. They need to focus on the handmade or their. They need to keep the culture of their parents, so and so on. So, as that we are a great or strong achievements, and also on empowering of the women, as I have mentioned, there was women which are economically marginalized from the society. We bring them as artisans, as spinners, and after that we give them the chance if they want to learn, like after works. We give them 2 hours on 1 hour to leave earlier in order to get to school on time. Then now
mm,
we don't have also a management members of the company from that starts from the artisan groups. Now that's why now we do have 61% of the top management is women, and they came from the bottom, then they know every expertise of the company. That's why. So if people came from the bottom hierarchy, they know every functional status. They know even if they are on the top level, they know everything, and they are also more expertise on the production system, on the management system, on the functional system. So due to that, Sahar is kind of advantageous to get people, and also it decreases the turnover mm, rate of the company, because since they expertise from they believe that it's their home, they believe
Okay.
that it's their factory, so they don't have any interest, like rather than they get more opportunities, they become empowered, so they have ownership feeling. So due to that, the management doesn't concern about the company, just everybody feels that it's my own company, my own work.
Mm,
So that decreases also the concern for the owner or the management. So these all
okay.
are actually related to the fair trade, because we create this as we are a member of fair trade, and we brought those all contents from fair trade.
It's very interesting to note, Tahaya, that the challenges that we face, so I'm based in South Africa, the challenges that we face around the youth and trying to get the youth interested in cultural means of production is a challenge, or rather, in production means that have stood the test of time. It feels a lot like the youth are more interested in more advanced, more technically forward, more current, trendy means of employment, and your more traditional types. So, in your instance, you're weaving. In some places, it would be farming. In some places, it would be carpentry. Those are not particularly attractive to the youth. But where we are faced with a challenge of unemployment, where youth have gone and studied and have these degrees and failed to enter into the job space, um, into these um, flashy jobs. Um, I think it's necessary for organizations to try and create strategies where the youth see value in entering these spaces like farming, like mining, like carpentry, like weaving, as you've mentioned. So, Tahaya, how do you guys draw in and ask the youth to engage in these traditional practices? Because clearly, since they've stood the test of time, they are a reliable source of creating an income. So how do you guys at Sabaha then entice the youth, bring in the youth to participate in these production forms?
Okay, to tell you frankly, in the beginning it was very difficult, because the traditional things consume a lot of time, and the young generation doesn't need to invest more time in kind of slow production phenomenon, or kind of they are enough to accept like very fast things or technological things. But what Samar make or try to do is to convince them we have we create like kind of we need to go some distance to them, and they need to come some distance to us, kind of that. And we have used it a lot of there is a cost, but the cost is to get revenue or to get benefit. So we make to them like saving accounts. 6% will be from them, and 11% will be from Sabahar. So they consider that as a kind of saving income. So they do have something in besides to the money they can get or the income they can earn from their production. That is also the saving one. So that creates kind of some percentage of security, kind of job security. And also we do a lot of brainstorming, awarenesses and training, because what they need is finally an income, or what they need is money, so that money they can sit down and they can produce or they can make that many. So for that, uh, in Ethiopia, weaving is seasonal. If you if you don't consider the production of Sabah, like for the market, for the local market, is seasonal. When there is celebrity, when there is wedding seasons, at that time they can get. But for the next 6 months or 7 months, they may sit down and no income. That's why the young generation doesn't lean on the weaving. Even we do have driver of the city bus. They drive the city bus for 8 hours, and they do have 16 hours what is it? They rest from that. So they have it 4 hours to weave for us because they believe that there is an income from Sabahar. We do have also some employee from the government because when they are off from the offices, they have now weaving. So those issues we make, we incur some costs, but as a fair trade member, we need also to cost something than to gain the changes. So with this, we have played a lot, and now we are on those young generations are stable on weaving, and also that's the great strength to keep the cultural sustainability.
Nice. Okay, that's very interesting. But I'm just curious to know, maybe Hala, you could let us know what that looks like in Palestine. I know I'm catching you off guard, but I would like to know, Hala, if the youth in Palestine are wired the same. Is there more interest in modern technologies and the modern type of jobs than the traditional type of jobs? Do you guys face the same challenges as are being faced in South Africa, being faced as we hear from Zahaya in Ethiopia? Is there a similar challenge around getting the youth to be interested in the more traditional forms of uh, um, production?
It's a similar situation because um, for the youth here, I think they're starting to become more interested in things that are related to technology and IT in general. You would see like people who are choosing their university major, they would go for something that is technology related. And this is also based on what I observe from our work with the different cooperatives here in Palestine. We work with different farmers and producers and agricultural cooperatives. And because we work with them every day, we realize that most of them are just people of the older generation. You would not really see young people engaging in these communities. You would not really see many young people interested in like farming and traditional Palestinian agricultural culture, let's say. For example, because our the main product that we work with the farmers is olive oil, and olive oil is a very important product that is deeply ingrained in the culture. You would not see as many young people being interested in working in this field. So, for example, because we work with different farmers, you would work with like the mother or the father of this family. You would not work with like their kids or like the youth of these families. So I think it's a similar situation. You would not see a lot of youth engaging in in the traditional aspect uh, of the things that we work in.
Hmm, that's very interesting. And I think as a fair trade community, I remember this being mentioned in the summit that we had last year in South Africa, if you remember, Hisham, that there is quite a significant challenge in getting more of the youth interested in these more traditional forms of creating a livelihood. But now to look back to you, Hisham, I would like you to maybe just give us a rerun of what you had shared with us around the impact of Yadawi on the women in Egypt and the refugees and possibly even the youth. And maybe share some information if you have any strategies that you are implementing in getting the youth more interested, or that you're using to entice the youth into your space? Isham.
Thank you, Musa, for this question. I we started Yadawi. We started back in 2002 in the local market with local Egyptian artisans, and we kept on doing that until 2015. So during this period, we focused on artisans who are in rural areas, who are really in need of support and help to access the local market and also the international markets. Our main focus was to provide them with decent income and sustainable income also. And during this period, we focused on lots of product development, working on new designs that will cater to the international markets, packaging, building the capacity of the artisans regarding costing and pricing, regarding quality control, fair trade principles, participating at bazaars and fairs, and so on. So that was our main focus during this period. And then in 2015, we started a project called Nil Furat with our partners UNHCR Egypt, and we focused on working with women refugees in Egypt. They come from different countries like Syria, Sudan, Yemen, and so on. And from 2015, that was a big journey with working with refugees. And in 2018, we started working with Made 51, which is an initiative by UNHCR in Geneva. And the main idea of this initiative is to work with or to support social enterprises working with refugees all around the world. In 2018, we started with six social enterprises, and I'm very happy to say that now in 2025, we have around 40 social enterprises in 22 different countries around the world. And it was not an easy ride. It was very bumpy during 2020 and 2021 with the COVID hitting all the world, and all the trade shows they stopped. Buyers preferring to spend their money on necessities and not buying handicrafts and these items that are not really a necessity for them. But still, we managed to survive this difficult period, and now we are focusing a lot on refugees. And as you mentioned, we are trying to engage the youth into the crafts business, which is not an easy task at all, because now the youth they have lots of opportunities and easier opportunities to make money, especially working on online. So it's not easy, because working or making crafts is not very profitable, and sometimes youth they look at it as if it's not a high valued job. So we are working on changing this mindset, and trying to show a lot of success stories from around the world on how artisans are making very beautiful products and being able to have a decent income out of that. And that's where fair trade comes. So I have learned that fair trade is just not about economics, it's about identity and empowerment and belonging. And behind every product, there is a story. And behind every artisan, there is a story also, not only the products. And fair trade is the platform that lets these stories be heard. So that's why I really love all the principles of fair trade. I love the community of fair trade. I always call this community as a one big family. of people who are sharing the same ideas, the same hobbies, and the same problems and everything.
Mm. Well, I think that is so powerful, Hisham, that fair trade is really not about economies, but it's about the people and their stories. Now, my question to everyone on the panel is, how do we get more of the African and Middle East community to understand and buy into the value contributed by fair trade? Because I think a reality to all of us is that the fair trade community is larger in the global north than it is in the global south. And if we are to grow this community of people and create a more significant, louder voice, then it is our job, all of us, to try and get more people into this community so that we are stronger together and we create more significant impact together. So I would like to hear from any one of you. Feel free to say, how would we go about a process of what Hisham said, getting more people to realize that it's about adding value to the story that you have to tell. It's about me realizing the impact you're making and buying into that impact as well. What does that look like for us in our community?
I think what we need to think more is about the unity of the continent or unity of the scope. Like from the beginning, if you look comparing to the north and the south, is the trade relationship is easy to the north because uh, the tax issue, the customs tax issue, is a barrier, especially for Africa. Like when Ethiopia tries to sell things to Kenya, like the customers in Kenya will pay a lot of tax, and the same to South Africa. So then, what is the issue now is I think to get community, to get unity on the business, and to have strong relationship is we need to have some system or some policy that since we are in Africa, then the African countries can have their buying and selling relationships. We need something to do like why is the taxation is high and it's a barrier to get a customer in our neighbor countries rather than if you sell for EU, like the taxation is almost zero. But if we sell to Kenya or South Africa, the taxation may be more than 20
Mm,
or 30. So those issues are the barriers to have
mm,
trade and kind of that. But we need also to think about that. Since we are in the same zone with the same thinking and the same location, we
mm.
need to strategize and to break this barrier or challenges. Then if we are like strong together, we can have some changes on the road.
I like that. Stronger together. Very well said, Sehai. Maya, just to bring you into this conversation, as Hisham highlighted previously, that I mean, we are faced with a multitude of challenges, and among those challenges would be political issues, civil issues, socio-political issues. I would like to find out how Fair Trade Lebanon, because you're based in Lebanon, and maybe you can just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about Fair Trade Lebanon, is working to build its resilience. How have you guys managed to remain strong? How have you managed to remain afloat? I mean, COVID, yes, hit all of us, but reality is outside of COVID, there's a bunch of other things. There's a multitude of other challenges that businesses, social enterprises face. So what does that look like in Lebanon? And what does that look like for fair trade Lebanon? Naya.
Thank you, Musa. Okay, so my name is Maya Masri. I'm representing Fairtrade Lebanon. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do that on World Fairtrade Day. Um, the challenges, I would say, if I had to describe Lebanon in one word, it's challenging. I think everybody heard about the very big economic crisis that we're facing since 2019. We have environmental problems, issues with the garbage piling up and so many problems, environmental problems. Our bank system bankrupt. So imagine yourself working all your life, the small producers, the cooperatives, working all their lives to save some money, and then from a day to another, everything is vanished. They cannot access their accounts anymore. We cannot access our accounts anymore. And then the COVID pandemic, of course. Then in 2020, we had this Beirut blast, so the biggest explosion ever, 220 casualties. People died. The Beirut was completely destroyed,
Mm,
and okay, so many challenges. And now with the crisis on our borders, Fairtrade Lebanon's mission started in the south. So we used to visit some cooperatives, and we knew that there was so much potential there, but so many support, so little support, so little aid. So financially and everything they needed. Lots of help, of support to develop themselves and develop their products. So this is where Fairtrade Lebanon started to work on these cooperatives, giving them, building their capacities. So in terms of business, in terms of product development, product innovation. So not sticking on the traditions, of course, it's important, but with a twist so that it could suit the international markets.
mm,
This is and talking about youth, we have been developing a lot our relation partnerships with them through universities. So we have lots of interns that want to work in the sector. Maybe because they cannot leave anymore. The poverty, the level of poverty is like 80% now. So lots of people cannot afford to leave the country. So they have to stick here. They have to be resilient, and they are doing this for their country finally. So our youth is engaged. If I have to give you a small example, we have a cooperative of women that we started to work with in 2006, so since the beginning of Fairtrade Lebanon. And they are located in the Bekaa. And even with the war, during the war, they kept on producing, and we kept on helping them packing and selling in Europe. And they have lots of young people joining these cooperatives because they saw that they are like proud of themselves, of their products traveling around the world, and it motivates them. So uh, we have lots of challenges, but we're trying to come up with new ideas, new partnerships to support. We are main actors in Lebanon in the social enterprise, and we're doing our best. We're still standing despite all the conflicts and the problems that we are facing.
wow, that it breaks my heart to hear your story. But I am encouraged by the fact that you guys continue to be resilient. But maybe you can share more stories, or rather, more on the strategies that you guys are implementing, Maya, around the resilience, because clearly, the situation is dire in Lebanon. So, what are those strategies that you guys have implemented as Fairtrade Lebanon to help sustain the businesses, the partnerships that you have built? Who are those partnerships with? What does it look like? The people who you are incorporating in your local societies, who do they involve, and what is the strategy behind those incorporations?
Okay, so first of all, partnerships with universities. So internships, when we have an event, we always call for the Scout movement or any person that can support and be there to help us. And then some people they like it a lot and they want to come back. The university, the agriculture. I forgot to mention that Fair Trade Lebanon only works in the agro-food sector. So I'm not talking about artisans. It's only food producers. So what we do a lot is so partnership with universities, partnership with schools. So we go because we believe that we need to plant the seed when they are young, when people are young, and then they will grow with these fair trade principles that they can apply in their lives. And for me, I liked very much what Hisham said, and I believe that applying the fair trade principle in our lives, we can do it every day. So we work a lot with the children. We go do awareness raising sessions in their schools. We developed our advocacy division. So we have people knocking on the doors of ministers, of people in the government to try to as much as possible, try to get them to take some decisions that would help that will help the producers, the cooperatives, and advocacy, a lot of advocacy. We are presiding Lebanese LSE, Lebanese Social Enterprise NGO, that also raised awareness. And we have a sister company, FTTL, Fair Trade and Tourism Lebanon, that has been exporting the products. So what we basically do is buy the products from the cooperatives, giving them the fair price that they deserve, and then we are exporting to European countries. We do a lot of business development. We help them create new ideas, new recipes with a twist. And when they see that their product is being exported to Europe, it's really a pride for them. And lots of positive vibes, if you want, that keeps us moving and that keeps them moving because they need it. Sometimes if we have new projects and everything, we try to include them in the project and maybe assist them in buying their machinery. Basically, we offer them all the support they need from the start, from maybe buying their raw material, their jars or whatever, until they have this final product that we export to international markets. We work a lot in the communities. We also have lots of refugees, like 2 million, and it's half of our population. We are 4 million Lebanese. And we try as much as possible to make the relation between them more easier by the same, giving them trainings to develop their skills and creating jobs that would help them both, so both communities. And voila, I think if you have any other question, I'm ready to answer. I don't know if I answered to your question.
Yes, I'm very well answered, and well done to Fair Trade Lebanon in trying to keep the community alive and shining some level of hope in the community, because it's necessary. Without a hope, I believe people would be dead. Obadiah, I would like to bring you in to share a bit about Heavenly Treasures, which I believe is based in Kenya, and how you guys are remaining resilient in the current challenges.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and good morning from Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Obadiah Teimuge, and I work with Heavenly Treasures Kenya. Heavenly Treasures Kenya was incorporated in the year 2006, and we've been in existence in Kenya for all those years. Heavenly Treasures is a non-profit organization that partners with artisans from marginalized communities to empower them through sustainable income generating activities. Heavenly Treasures operates as uh, as a as part of the global Heavenly Treasures network, and and we support micro enterprise development as pathway out of poverty. So part of our mission, our commission is to transform lives through economic empowerment, spiritual growth, and to restore dignity uh, through work. So by providing trainings, market access, mentorship, um, the organization helps individuals, especially women and youth, to gain tools to support themselves and their families uh, with pride and purpose. Moving on to, you had asked about strategies that we use to during the hard times in the fair trade market. So we uh, the hard times actually began during COVID in the year I think it was 2020 for us March when it really hit hard, and even before that we had started thinking about sustainability. How are we going to be sustainable? How are we going to be able to move from depending on one source of income to be able to and also depending on and be able to have a variety of markets or a variety of income streams. So we work with different artisans, over 500 artisans in Kenya, 500 artisan groups who support, you know, families, and they have their own staff. So we came up with a strategy. We sat down with the artisans and we were brainstorming. How can we be able to move from just having to depend on uh, one big buyer, and being able to diversify and being able to find other sources of markets. So it was an agenda. We discussed it. We had roundtable meetings with our various groups. We talked. We brainstormed, and actually, for us, it's it's a transformative agenda. You don't impose progress. You don't impose an objective to people. You let people come up with the ideas, so as so that it comes from them. Because we realize that most of the things that we've seen, for example, organizations want you to partner with them, but what they come up with is something that's tailored just specifically because of their goals and what they want to do. It's it's not tailored towards a need. It's tailored towards the goals and the vision of an organization. If they're a donor organization, they just want to achieve their objectives. So we sat down and we said, you know what? For us, we have to come out with the where is the problem? How can we solve this? So number one, uh, we started forming self-help groups, which uh, social welfare and for economic support and for moral support. So these social groups, like in Kenya, or this we call them chamas. It's a chama. You have people of like-minded ideas going through the same challenges, and you form a group. You register with government. You start meeting. You have objectives. You have monthly meetings, and then in this um, in this during these meetings and all that, you raise money. How we came up with that, we formed self-help groups that have the same goal, and we support one another. And through forming these self-help groups, it's a gateway towards being able to overcome these hard times, because people get emotional support, people get um, social support, they also get financial support. We contribute money every month. We are able to get information from various people in regard to market access. So someone will post in the group and say, "Hi, there's this market, such and such a place. You guys can join this market. You can participate." Then sometimes you find the entrance fee or the registration fee is expensive. You partner as a group, and it becomes cheaper, and you get to attend them. So, and the gateway for sailing through some of these things is having a group, because like governments, especially governments, recognize organized groups that are registered within the system. So once we got registered with the government, like for Kenya, has what we call micro small enterprise authority, which provides trainings to 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 um, to community-based organizations and to self-help groups. So they would come and train us on financial literacy, on bookkeeping, accounting, the basics of business, which most of the people don't have. Bookkeeping, and those small things that you would neglect. And it really came in handy. So we introduced social media training to our groups. You might think that owning a phone uh, is easy and normal, and you can operate. Let me tell you, some people don't even know how to drop a pin, or to send an attachment, or to the basic nitty-gritties that you might pass by and are really important for business, especially people who are selling product. So we have trainings for social media. Like when you ask someone, "Can you send me a picture of your product?" Someone will take a picture of 1,000 products, and you only needed like one really nice product. So we get someone who is a photographer to come and just train people on those very basic skills. Get a nice background with lighting, those really nitty gritty stuff that people bypass. Training people on how to post on status, on how to come up with small flyers about their business, posting on Instagram, posting on Facebook. So those that really helped us sail through this time.
Thank you for sharing your story, Obadiah. And it's encouraging to hear about all the partnerships that you have in place to ensure that the community of your artisans and the people that you work with are not only catered for in terms of trading relationships, but there is an actual relationship within the group of artisans. Emotional care plays a role, and all the elements that you brought in, I think, are quite critical in ensuring that the artisans are motivated in continuing to do what they do, and those partnerships also remain sustainable. What strategies do you have at El Reef, which is based in Palestine, to keep your enterprise, your social enterprise alive? And maybe you could also let us know about how the fair trade business model assists in keeping the business alive, or the business sustainable within Palestine, considering all the challenges economically, socially, politically that are being faced by El Reef in Palestine.
Yeah, thank you. First, I will introduce myself. My name is Hal Hamza, and I work in Arif for Investment and Agricultural Marketing. It's a Palestinian company located in the West Bank in Ramallah. And the story of Arif actually dates back to the 90s. We are a private company owned by an NGO called the Palestinian Agricultural Relief Committees. And this NGO has been operating in Palestine since the 80s, and their main goal is working with the Palestinian farmers and agricultural cooperatives all over the West Bank in different projects, and to encourage their resilience on the land, because the Israeli occupation that we are living under since 1948 has been mainly has been targeting the agricultural sector in Palestine. So the NGO that owns our company is is the organization that we got our principles from. So in the 90s, they wanted to support farmers not just in different projects. They wanted to start giving them marketing services and things that they cannot do as an NGO. So Arif, our company, was established as the marketing arm of this NGO. So we have been working since 1993, basically way before I was born, but we have been working with various farmers all over the West Bank. And what we do mainly with them is not just purchase their products and prepare them for export, but we also work with them in capacity building and encouraging them in preparing their product to be competitive in international markets, and to be able to adhere to the quality requirements of the international markets that we are working with. And the work of our company, especially in fair trade, it's on two levels. It's the local level and the international level. The local level, like I mentioned, we work with the different cooperatives and encouraging them in enhancing their produce and purchasing their products, of course, for fair prices that are better than the prices in the local market. But the international level is our work with the different organizations that import the products that we prepare. We work with different fair trade organizations, for example, Oxfam Fair Trade in Belgium, Equal Exchange in the US, different markets all over the world, in not just selling this product, but also uh, empowering the voices of the Palestinian farmers, because here in Palestine we have so many different stories. Each Palestinian goes through different things because of the Israeli occupation. So we don't just sell a product, it's a product that has a story behind it. And this is the main idea of our work. Uh,
Mhm.
Thankfully, we work with different organizations that stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people. So their goal is very similar to ours. It's fair trade and also selling high quality products that have a story behind them.
Mm.
Um, so our work with the cooperatives all over the years is making an impact, we can say, on an international level with the consumers. And our company has a long history of supporting these cooperatives in different things. For example, in 2005, there was a cooperative in a village, and we were working with different farmers at that time. They were like separate. So our company and the mother organization of our company, they work together with these farmers to encourage them to establish the idea of a cooperative, of working collaboratively together to benefit them economically and work together to produce the high quality olive oil. And and this is a model that we work with all over the West Bank. It's very important for us to support the farmers and producers to not only work individually, but also work in a collaborative way
Yeah.
that allows them to benefit economically and also allows us to get high quality products for them, to
Mhm.
prepare them for export, especially that they don't have this access because they live in the rural areas in the West Bank that are close to we have so many Israeli settlements, and the farmers go through uh, daily assaults confiscations of lands. Sometimes farmers during the harvest cannot access their land because the Israeli authorities don't allow them to access their lands that are close to the settlements and also behind the apartheid wall that we have here. There are so many restrictions from the Israeli occupation that have been increasing heavily since the beginning of the genocide in Gaza, since October of 2023. I think also in Lebanon, we heard about the different challenges that they go through. Um, and this situation is affecting all the Palestinians. It's not just the farmers. So when we support the farmers, we are also supporting everyone. We're supporting ourselves and in empowering our voices. And it's very important for people to know about what we go through because the product that we sell, it's has a very long history behind it, a very long story, and this is the main value that we work according to. I don't know if you have a question or something.
I'm encouraged by what you say, Hala, and I feel like what you're sharing with us ties in a lot with what many of the other organizations have had to share, that there's definitely significant value that comes in promoting and supporting, sorry, not promoting, but rather supporting each other within these communities. There's significant value that comes in sharing the stories of the community so that more people get to understand their realities and hopefully support and buy from their products. So I think the work that you guys are doing at El Reef is definitely encouraging to hear. How would you encourage more people to participate in what we think the future of responsible trade could look like?
Okay. So how to encourage people? I think it's I forgot to tell you that we're working on lots of sustainable methods, helping farmers to implement them. So in our team, we had so many agriculture engineering that would go on the field and help them and educate them on ecological and social transition. So this is the path that we're taking now. I think that the partnerships, the raising awareness, the keeping on the good vibes, the positive thinking, to motivate the producers, to motivate the consumers to buy local. Even in our humanitarian projects, we buy locally produced products from our cooperatives. We try to get them to get a certification, but it's rarer now. It's getting more rare because of the financial crisis. So we're doing our best to stay there, to continue with this mission that we have. But and exporting is a big challenge for us, but we're doing it, and basically this is it.
Thank you so much, Maya. Just to round off this conversation and round off the stories that we've heard from all the different producers, I think it would be great for us to contribute to one voice. How do we encourage more businesses to become partners, or rather contributors, to a more responsible way of trading? How do we encourage more producers, more artisans to buy into the future of responsible trade? Because realistically speaking, if it's up to the handful of producers that are within the fair trade movement, the likelihood is that it's not going to be as sustainable as we would want it to be. So if we are to make a call to the region, to the Buddha region, how do we get people to buy into the hashtag business revolution? How do we get people to buy into contributing to more responsible trade in the future? I'll let you guys answer as you, or maybe let me pick. I'll start with you, Tahai.
So we can try a strategy like to convince people rather than using the product of machine to use the cultural products, and also rather than using the use and throw processes, they need to use more durable products. So indirectly, it will be also protecting the environment from using the products, and also like to focus on durability. So we can convince them to use the traditional products through having that strategy.
I like that, Tahai. Thank you for that. Obadiah?
Hi. I think what what would really work is continuing embracing the ever-changing global trends, consistency in learning, and embracing the way the world is going. So, like for us, our trend is our slogan is every product represents a changed life. Thank you.
Embrace changing global trends. I like that, Obadiah. Wow, thank you so much to everybody who has taken the time to be with us here today, as we have heard the stories of how the different artisans in different parts of the African Middle East region are contributing towards creating sustainable methods of production, building stronger communities, building stronger economies, but also telling the stories of the artisans that live in Africa. I think if we are to continue to have a strengthened hashtag business revolution, we need to make the circle bigger, especially within the Africa and Middle East region, so that we create significant value within the region. If there's more of us that are social impact community driven, then it means we're building a stronger and more resilient Africa. That said, my name is Musa Mpofu from WFTO Africa and Middle East, and I thank you for your time.